Good evening and welcome to Tech Insights with yours truly, Brian Cochran. We're here every Tuesday at 6 p.m. And today we are glad to be back again. Our broadcast will be covering throughout our new season, our broadcast that we'll be doing this new channel. Or actually new broadcast. There we go. We'll be doing but video production, audio production, software solutions, and also be doing interviews with various people that are in the tech industry. Um, my name is Brian, and I've been a sound engineer since 76 and 75, 76, somewhere in there as a DJ. And then I have been doing some pretty cool stuff. We have our own TV network and radio network. So we'll be getting into talking. Today we'll be talking about live broadcasting. To broadcast to a live platform like Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, or others, you'll need an app or software. This will take your video and audio broadcast to whatever platform you choose to use, and turn the broadcast will broadcast your signal, your station, your show to your audience, and that's what we're talking about today. Many of our main live video platforms, such as Facebook and YouTube, have this facility built into their web and mobile apps. So what that means is that if you want to do it from your smartphone, all you do is go to Facebook or you go to YouTube or some of the other services that are out there, and you don't need a third party to do it. And all you do is you put all the information in, have a webcam or a camera or your phone or tablet, and you can go live. It's very, very, very simple. But what we're going to be talking about today is software. Some live video platforms allow you to go, as I said a second ago, live directly to their app. This means that you do not have to use a separate live video tool, and you can broadcast from your mobile device or web application based upon what you're using. And so today we're going to be talking about what type of software do I need, and this is episode number 6. And I'm excited because I've been wanting to do this broadcast for a while, and Tech Insights, because I didn't consider myself a techie until someone kind of reminded me that, man, you've got books on it and so forth, and you've been helping people and do installs and stuff. So you need to help other people. So what I did is, if you go to episode 1, you go to BAC TV and start at episode 1, that you'll see that we started with cameras and all that. We took each step of what it takes if you do a live stream. And today we're going to go into what type of software that you're going to need, and then we're going to break it down into various types. And so that's what we're going to be doing today. So I'm excited about it. I'm glad to be back again. And today we're going to be discussing third-party software to live stream. One is web conferencing, and the second one is live video production from the desktop, and then the third one we'll be talking about live streaming studio from a browser-based, web-based software solution. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. Number 1, web conferencing software, and if you see here, let me just keep going, and then I'll stop. So web conferencing software equals a set of telecommunication technologies. It allows users to hold live meetings, conferences, webinars, and presentations and trainings through the internet. And so let me give you an example of that. An example of that is Zoom. And Zoom is probably right now, because of the pandemic, it's the number 1 software out there, and it's very simple to use. You go in, but it's different than the other two we're going to be talking about, because this one is more for, as I said earlier, web conferencing. So you can bring a bunch of people into the room, and it's a private room. You send a URL out, and the only people that can get into your broadcast or your teachings or your trainings or whatever is if they only have your URL. Or you could, as well as what they did now too with Zoom, is you can also stream it to Facebook, and that way, if those that are on Facebook, depending on your profile or page, they can also tune in and watch your broadcast. You can also record it. It has recording capabilities, and once you record it, then you're able to also download it, and then you can put it on your website or send it out and syndicate it to other places as well. I don't believe they have syndication processes yet. We're going to be talking about that a little bit today. as well as we go through our lesson for today. All right. Number 2 is live video production. Live stream broadcasting software enables users to record, produce, edit, and mix live stream videos and live broadcasts. And so in addition to live editing, live stream broadcasting tools provide audio editing and mixing capabilities in similar fashion to audio editing software. And so one of the cool, let me go to the software, and then I'll park there for a second, because it's important for you to understand it. So there's several that I'm going to talk about today, and if you see there, I'm going to say this up front. There's millions of them, but the ones I'm going to talk about mainly today are the ones that I personally use. So that way I know them not totally, but I put them in various churches and help people set up their systems in their businesses, as well as other live streaming businesses that we help them to do so. And these two are probably the biggest ones, and then we'll get into some of the other ones that are available. So this one, this software, you actually, you have to have a computer or on OBS. You can use it on a tablet. A laptop. But with vMix, because it's a very powerful tool, so software solution, you'll need a computer that's pretty beefy. Because if you look on the bottom of the screen on the right-hand side for vMix, it has a bunch of different cameras. The cool part, both of them allow you to bring as many cameras as you want. OBS is a free software, and I'll go back to vMix in a second. OBS is a free software that you can download. You go to obsprojects.com, and you can download it. It's free. It's available on both Mac and PC. And then you set up scenes, and as many cameras as you have. If you want to do live video, if you want to do, they even have some. What's so cool about this software being free as well, because it's open source, other companies or other developers will also add different features to it that are free for you to try out and use. And so with them, like what we're talking about in a little bit, how you can distribute to more than one place. Most of these, what we're going to be talking about today is one, sending it to either YouTube or Facebook. And then there are services that you can distribute to a bunch of other ones. So with OBS, they just did a plugin about a year or so ago that you're not going to go to multiple locations at one time, and it's also free. The startup on it is a little bit harder. There is a learning curve because it is open source, so they're changing this technology all the time. But there's tons and tons and tons of videos that are available on the internet that you're able to, on YouTube, that you're able to learn and glean from, so that way you can get up running in no time. With vMix, it's a professional video mixing software that, based upon the difference between OBS, it's it's the same thing where you can add cameras to it as well, based upon what we talked about before. You having something like this, which is your capture card, or you can have a capture card, you can have a webcam, and have multiple cameras. It's the same thing with vMix, but you can use professional cameras based upon what you do. You can change the settings. It also does, they both do where you can do lower thirds and all that kind of stuff, which we'll talk about another time. I don't want to get into that today. I just really want to get into the software, of the basics of what you need, and then we'll go into more details. But vMix is PC only. So that's the only downside of using that software, is PC only, but it's a great software. It's a paid software, but the budget is at the starting levels of probably like $300. It goes up to a lot more for the up to, I think, about $1,000 based upon what your expertise is and what you plan on using. So if you're gonna do 4K streaming and that kind of stuff, then vMix is for you. Where OBS is 1080p is the largest that it goes, and I think they're working on 4K. They may have a 4K out by now. When I first got started, OBS is one of the softwares that I got started with, and it works really well. Very safe. People don't like it because it's open source. I think if you're just getting started, it's a great way to get started. And then once you mature and grow, then you can go into a vMix or something else we're going to show you a little bit later on in our broadcast today. So you have OBS, and it's a live streaming broadcasting software that you actually download to your computer. Number 3, Live Streaming Studio, and this one is a web-based solution, and it says browser for a web-based live streaming studio that helps you create professional and impactful live streams within minutes. And that's what's so cool about this one. They're very easy to use. You can be up and running probably within 10, 15 minutes. Matter of fact, it's the same way. Matter of fact, the same way you would use to go to either YouTube or Instagram or Facebook is the same way you use this because they're all browser based. But the difference with this one is that you can have multiple cameras where if you're streaming to like Facebook or YouTube, you can only use one camera at a time unless you use a switcher of some kind or some type of either OBS or vMix or one of the platforms that we're talking about right now that you're able to go to and go live with these with those as well. It goes on, it says the browser web-based live streaming studio also gives users the ability to stream and record live and you can upload pre-recorded videos and publish them to multiple social media platforms all at one time. And so again, the cool thing about web-based is that you can use a tablet, you can use something even you don't have to have a big beefy computer because all the work is being done through the internet. So if you have a great internet service, then you're all good, and then everything is on the other side. They carry the load. They do the hard work for you. All you do is just set up your stream. A lot of these also have, which we'll get into in a minute, scheduling and all kind of stuff like that. So I use a combination of all the above based upon what I'm doing. We're going to talk about 3 different platforms today that I started with. I'll start in the middle with Restream. Once I got with OBS, then I wanted to distribute. Before they came up with their plugin that you're able to stream to, you distribute to or syndicate to a bunch of different places. You got to go to a place called like Restream or Caster or some of the others that are out there. Matter of fact, we have our own software that out of India that we have that's called Restream as well. But I didn't want to confuse you, and think that this is I'm trying to sell you our software, which I am. But at the same time, I want you to understand that the basics of what we're doing, and then ours is very professional. That's a whole other story. But anyway, so Restream did something about it when the pandemic came out, or just before the pandemic. They did something that was kind of cool. What they did was they also created their own live studio, so you can also broadcast from them. Before it was only like what you would need. You would need another software, either like vMix or somebody like that, or even Ecamm, who I'm going to talk about in a minute, or OBS or something like that, and you would connect to Restream, and then you would send your broadcast out. Now Restream is created where it's also a studio and a distribution outlet, which is incredible. The prices are okay. But when I first got started with them, that I tried all the other ones that were out there, and Restream was the best until we got our own. And then our solutions changed a little bit because we didn't need to go to as many places as we did because we're a little bit more focused, which is another conversation that we'll have at another time. So with Restream, you're able to do live broadcasting, and you're also able to distribute to Facebook, YouTube, Vimeo, and all these other places. Periscope is gone now, so can't even go to Periscope anymore. But other places, that you can go to at the same time, which is kind of cool. So versus, again, I'm gonna stop there because I'm gonna go through a full tutorial or talk about distribution of your broadcast at another time. The next one I used was Ecamm, and because I have a Mac and I was on a Mac, I'm on PC now too. I'm on both. Restream is both Mac and PC because it's web based, so you're able to go to either one. Ecamm is one of the reasons I put it up there because for Mac users, this is an incredible, inexpensive software. It's a paid software, but you also could do your video switching. If you look at the bottom of the screen on the right hand side for Ecamm, you can have multiple cameras. You do lower thirds. You can do scheduling. You can do all kind of stuff through it, and it's very cost effective, very clean. And it has some other features for NDI, which we'll get into another time that you can. Never mind. I don't want to get into that now because it's a whole other protocol that we're not ready to talk about yet. And then the one that I'm currently using is called StreamYard, which is on the left. And I use StreamYard because when I started off with web conferencing, let me do this. Let me do this. Let me 1 second. Let me do this. There we go. All right. So when I first got started, I didn't know any better, and I was still learning and going through trials and tribulations to master my craft to be able to do the broadcast and some of the things like I'm doing right now. And so I was using OBS, and OBS was fine. Because learning curve, and then I got into Ecamm. but everybody wanted to do, like I have a show that we do on Monday nights, and I have 6 people, 7 people in the room. Why I didn't want to do Zoom, because Zoom didn't have the production stuff. StreamYard is a StreamYard, Ecamm. I haven't used Restream's their live studio yet, because that came out after I started using StreamYard, so I didn't want to go backwards. So I know StreamYard and I know Ecamm. So with Ecamm and StreamYard, I was able to do the production. But what StreamYard did that was over Ecamm, and the reason I chose StreamYard is because, one, it allowed you to go to multiple places a lot easier, and 2, it had the lower thirds, and it also allowed you to do interviews. So when we started with StreamYard, I was looking for something, because originally I was going to use Skype and do something with Skype with interviews and that kind of stuff. But a lot of folks have a hard time with Skype because it's not really, really easy to use, and it was more for recording. So I was going to record and then upstream and stream it later on. So I wanted something I could do live streaming, whenever I wanted to, scheduling and all that kind of stuff as well. So StreamYard does that. And so I do a lot of interviews. So with the interviews, it's side by side, like you watch TV, they're side by side. Or if I want to be by myself, I can be by myself. Or I can bring multiple people, up to 8 people, including whoever your presenter is, or the moderator is. You can have up to 9 people. And so it's a stable software. I've been using it over a year now. I love it. It has a free versions to get started, but you'll see the logo. It'll be branded with StreamYard on it. So if you don't care, just getting started, use the free version. So if you're on a Mac and the learning curve on Ecamm, they got tons of videos as well. All 3 are stable and all 3 are great, but I use StreamYard because it's easier for me. And again, I'm not trying to sell it. I'm just letting you know that it's available, and it's a great software to use. So for live streaming, and there's more than that out there. And I don't want to get stuck on what the difference is with all of them. That's a whole separate video. I just want to give an overview of what it takes for you to stream and the differences between the 3 that we're talking about today. So that way you can make a conscious decision based upon your expertise and the vision of what you're going to be doing, that you go to the next one. All right, let's keep going. Almost done. I wanted a little pro tip, and one of the things that all of them use, it's for if you want to do distribution. So if you want to distribute more, so like if you want to use one of the things that OBS uses called RTMP, which stands for Real-Time Messaging Protocol, which doesn't really make a lot of sense but that's the protocol that it uses. So streaming video requires a special type of connection or protocol. Websites use a protocol called HTTP or HTTPS. And streaming videos use RTMP or RTMPS, depending on who you're using. So if you look at the bottom of the illustration at the bottom, this one's coming from this one is from, I believe, more than likely, because of the way it's set up. This is OBS. It's an OBS screen. And so you'll put in the custom settings, and then you can go live from there, whatever other services. So depending on who you're using to distribute your signal to more than one location based upon the service you have, you're able to put the RTMP code in there, plus your stream key, which is your private code that you never let anybody know. Put that in there, and then you can broadcast based upon, like if you're using a Restream or you're using StreamYard or BeLive or one of the other services that you're out to. You go to several services that, say, for instance, if you want to do like what I used to do until we had our own service, and still now, I'll use one of their services. I'll use RTMP and then have it distributed to 20, 30, 40 different places. When I was doing a bunch of different places, to using RTMP to go to multiple sites, like with Restream or some other service like that. So I just wanted to put that in there so you know that in order for you to use some of the services, that the RTMP is the protocol that you would use in order to do so. There's tons of options out there that I did not go over on purpose because it's too many to go through. Based upon what you're going to be using, some of these are web-based. Some of these you have to download to your actual computer. But if you don't have a strong computer, then my suggestion is to go back and use the software-based, the web-based, browser-based one, so that way you can get started. And then as you grow, then you go to a free software like OBS, or you can go to Ecamm or vMix and go there. All right. In conclusion today, that You pay based upon your, I'm going to always say this, based upon your budget. My suggestion is if you're just getting started, OBS is fine. Again, there's a slight learning curve on how to do it. It's open source, but almost on the professional side now. So it's going to take you a learning curve to learn that one. But if you're using like StreamYard or the browser-based ones, they're very easy to use. You can be up and running in no time. Most of them have free versions that are branded to to the company that you're going to be using. But based upon a budget, they're low in cost to get started. They're very stable for you to use. You don't have to have a big beefy computer to get started. And then the second one is if you have the expertise to do it and you have the time to learn about it, then I would go with the vMix or a OBS, because those are hardware based. They're hardware based in the sense of you have to go straight directly to their computer, and download their software to your computer so that way you get up and running. And then the third part is based upon your usage. So based upon what your goals and aspirations are in the future is also what you're going to need to do for what software you're going to use. Because if you're just getting started, if you've been in for a little while, then you've kind of heard our presentation for today, that based upon your expertise and understanding software, then you'll be able to use some of these. If you use something like Photoshop or use PowerPoint or something like that, then you'll be able to use these software as well as the hardware. So they're all fairly, if you take the time to learn, one of the things I've always talked about is that if you want to master your craft, then you got to spend time with it. If you don't plan on really mastering your craft, you really want to do it, then find something simple and do it. Matter of fact, you can start with your, you can start with your smartphone and just use your smartphone. Go live on Facebook, go live on YouTube, build up your courage, build up your expertise, learn how that stuff works. And the next step is get a browser-based one, because those are browser-based ones. Initially, sort of. Well, actually, Facebook, you can do it off your phone. So you download the app and then you go live, and you go live from there. The same thing with Twitter, or same thing with YouTube. So you can start there to get you going, and then as you grow, and then as your budget, you start developing a budget, put some money aside to go to that next level, then you go to the other solutions that we talked about. So I hope something's been said to kind of help you to understand what you need in order to get yourself started. We thank you for watching our broadcast today. We're here every Tuesday at 6 o'clock. I hope you're having a good time, because I am. And tell somebody, share this broadcast, share this link, let people know that we're here to help you to build your capacity to do great internet, radio, TV, and whatever. We're going to also be talking about internet radio very, very soon. Next week, we're going to be dealing with how to put it all together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the physical actual steps of putting the camera together, putting everything together, and then stream to show you how to do it. So that's going to be next week. So that way we've gone through the individual parts. And so now we're going to put it all together for you to learn how to do it. So what you can do is take your time, go through each 1 through 5, now 6. This is the 6th video. Go through the other videos to hear and see how the flow goes and how the workflows go. Then based upon your budget, again, based upon your expertise, then you'll be able to get up and running in no time. If you need help with doing your sound, lighting, video, internet solutions, you can give us a call. All my contact info or email, all our contact information are down below. You can go to our website, briancochran.org, and you can learn about what the other services that we have to offer. We do installation, we do service and training. We do a great work. We've been doing it a long time. I'm pretty proud of what we do. So I thank you so much for being a part of our podcast. I thank you that you give an opportunity to spend the time with us. Again, share and like the broadcast and let others know that we are here to help you. God bless you. We'll see you.